Elon Musk and Tesla have taken the time to drop Master Plan Part 4, and I understand I am a little bit late with this upload, but I wanted to take the time to really have some concepts to talk about outside of the text itself, and really have a little bit of something to add to this. And I think I am at the point where I have some things that I can talk about here. But this is the document itself. We will go through the document. I'm sure you have by this point read this, as I think that this is big news in the not just the Tesla community, but also the technology community, also the business community. I think that this is a big document going forward because every one of the master plans, save maybe Master Plan Part 3, was really definitive for the coming months and years of the economy and progress in technology writ large. I have tried to put all of my comments and highlights here, so I will hit those talking points and go a little bit. But introduction. Since Tesla's founding, each iteration of our master plan has focused on our North Star to deliver unconstrained sustainability without compromise. I have seen a little bit of argument with this in the Tesla community that if you go back to Master Plan Part 1, there's not really a whole lot of sustainability talked about. Certainly not unconstrained sustainability, maybe not even without compromise. But I think that if you are looking at the heart of the matter, that is what was being displayed, because the breaking away from oil, the breaking away from gas, is something that is very big towards this, and relying on the sun for energy converted into cars does do that, and that is what an electric vehicle is above all else. Humans are tool makers. At Tesla, we make physical products at scale at a low cost with the goal of making life better for everyone. And that was that you can go back to Master Plan Part 1 for that. They wanted to make a very expensive roadster and then go down the line getting cheaper as they went. And that's just what they did. Going to forward-looking, the robotaxi itself, where you will not only not be paying for a car, but you won't be paying for your insurance, you won't be paying for gas, you will be paying for single-use transportation, essentially. As the influence and impact of artificial intelligence, AI, technology increases, the mission set forth in Master Plan Part 4 should come as no surprise. Spoiler, it is a little bit of a surprise. The next chapter in Tesla's story will help create a world we've only just begun to imagine, and will do so at a scale that we have yet to see. We are building the products and services that bring AI into the physical world. We have been working tirelessly for nearly 2 decades to create the foundation for this technological renaissance through the development of electrical vehicles, energy products, and humanoid robots. So a lot of the commentary here from the Tesla fan base has been about how this is not written by Elon Musk. This is corporate jargon. I think a little bit of that is to be expected, as you're looking at a company that is a $1 trillion company, $1 trillion+ company, and perhaps especially when you look back at Tesla Master Plan Part 3, which was still a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but which was loosey-goosey to an extent that I think a lot of people are still questioning if Master Plan Part 3 was completed, right? And we're not going to get really into the weeds here. This is another criticism often of this document. We don't really get into the nitty-gritty of what Master Plan Part 4 is. But it is incredible to think that all of this started with Elon Musk and J.B. Straubel basically asking if a car could run on PC batteries. So from that to humanoid robots in 20 years, and autonomous cars in 20 years. It might seem like a long time, 20 years, but that's throwing a stone in the pond as far as the massive technological advancements that we have seen. Now, we are combining our manufacturing capabilities with our autonomous prowess to deliver new products and services that will accelerate global prosperity and human thriving, driven by economic growth shared by all. We are unifying our hardware and software at scale, and in doing so, we are creating a safer, cleaner, and more enjoyable world. Say what you will about any portion of Tesla's business. The two parts of Tesla's business that are beyond reproach. You can talk about panel gaps. You can talk about Elon being late on things to deliver things. The two parts here that are beyond reproach are their manufacturing and their AI/autonomy. People will quibble with, oh, well, their cars aren't level 4 because there has to be someone in the car supervising. Well, in Texas, that guy's in the passenger seat. Okay, that's as far removed from having your foot on the brake and gas pedals as possible, right? Besides sitting in the back. This is sustainable abundance, guiding principles. Growth is infinite. Growth in one area does not require decline in another. Shortages in resources can be remedied by improved technology, greater innovation, and new ideas. The big takeaway here, if you're really trying to parse out what's going on in this document, the big takeaway here is that it is implicit but profound, is that energy, which has always been a limiting factor in society, energy which has decided wars, energy which has decided world wars. Look back at World War II. Think oil, gas, and coal. Energy is nearly infinite. We're not talking about limited resources. We're not talking about oil that... when are we going to run out of oil? We were supposed to have run out of oil about 4 times by now. Energy is nearly actually infinite. So long as we capture enough of it from the sun, we can transition that energy into all of the same things that traditionally ran on oil, etc. And now we're transitioning that energy into something that has never run on oil, intelligence with AI, with data centers, with all of these types of things. The technologies that gave us the ability to power machines led to industrial revolutions that have widened our economic landscape, creating more opportunities for all. Groundbreaking inventions like the semiconductor and the internet have expanded, not diminished, social and economic opportunities across all aspects of the human experience, from creating more jobs to providing greater access to information to enabling deeper interpersonal connections. So, the big worry, I think, around the AI discussion is around AI taking over and what will humans do once AI takes over. And I think those answers will obviate themselves in the periphery as other things are edged out that are right in the center, like manufacturing. Manufacturing seems ripe for innovation. Manufacturing seems ripe for transition, for revolution. As manufacturing is maybe parsed through, some of the things that humans do will obviate themselves on the outer skirts of what humans now do. But as with all technological revolutions, I also believe that other jobs will be necessitated by AI. Who's going to be running those data centers, etc.? And eventually those jobs will be eaten by bots as well, but that's an entirely different talking point for an entirely different video. Pardon me. Our desire to push beyond what is considered achievable will foster the growth needed for truly sustainable abundance. Unlimited power, or nearly so, will start to ramp the beyond what is considered, as well as the sustainable abundance, the moment we start running an excess of energy as opposed to a deficit of energy. Right now, any excessive energy that we really produce, if you look at power plants that run off coal or gas, etc., goes to waste. So you don't run it. But then you need an entire extra power plant the moment that demand peaks. These are called peaker plants. Some of that has been phased out by large-scale batteries, which we'll get to in a moment. But not all of it. And I think that as energy becomes more gainable, that is more collectible through something like solar, the need for energy storage will ramp up. The availability of energy storage will ramp up. You've seen Tesla already cranking out megapacks and things like that at record paces the past few years. As we start to store energy will be there at demand, as opposed to having to be created in order for the demand to be filled. That is the future we're going towards. The sooner we get there, the sooner the shackles come off of the economy, the shackles come off of what is possible in daily life. Innovation removes constraints. For centuries, humanity's primary mode of transportation was the horse. Then, over the last 50 plus years, cars with internal combustion engines powered by fossil fuels became the standard and expected transportation method. The idea that batteries could be produced affordably and at a scale large enough to pivot the transportation industry away from fossil fuels seemed a fool's errand, until Tesla led the way forward. Through continued innovation, we have overcome the technological constraints of battery development and built an industry, powered by renewable resources. The big whispers around Tesla right now, if you get into the weeds, are that Tesla is making breakthroughs on nickel batteries still. The 4680 was really a revolution that I think was more than many expected, but I think is still gaining steam, pardon the pun. But at the same time they're doing that, they're developing sodium cells that can really take a beating. At the same time, they are starting to crank out LFP batteries through their own manufacturing processes, batteries which are meant for high cycle life, batteries that are the type of batteries you would get into grid scale storage. That is the big thing there with LFP batteries. Now, I think that there is a future for LFP batteries in transportation as the technology gets better. And you're seeing, a few years ago, Thunderfoot can tell you about this. A few years ago, the general assumption was that battery technology was kind of done, that battery technology was what it would be, but that is no longer the case, and we are seeing that at large scale. You see a lot of companies in China that are, BYD for example, that are making battery improvements incrementally, bit by bit, and when you keep doing that, just like compounded interest, it becomes something else entirely. Technology solves tangible problems. The products and services born out of the acceleration towards sustainable abundance will advance humanity by solving real-world problems. To further accelerate our innovation, we build each product more efficiently and more sustainably than the last. This has been something that Tesla has achieved through their manufacturing processes, something that Tesla has been able to do bit by bit, incrementally, like battery improvements. And that is starting to add up, and Tesla is starting to become more of a runaway train. Again, pardon the pun. Solar energy generation at large-scale battery storage, increasing the availability and reliability of clean electricity in our communities, are doing so more affordably and sustainably. One thing that I really want to see Tesla get back to, and I think we're going to, and I think that this is going to be part of the... So when we're looking at the scale of Master Plan Part 4, I think that Tesla almost has to start getting into houses. We've talked about, through the years, the heat pump being put into houses. Talked about all sorts of these minor technological advances that have really revolutionized their cars being worked into a larger scale at the home scale. And I think that in order to really produce energy at the level that will need to be produced to be a sufficient society of tomorrow, every home is going to have to be its own little energy block. And this is the Tesla solar roof right here. This is a solar roof that Tesla can put up. Now, from what I understand, the big holdup on Tesla's solar roof is that it is too hard to install to be able to be mass manufactured at or mass put up mass applied on a home-by-home basis. I think that getting into entire new developments of houses that will have these solar roofs will be what is necessary moving forward, and will really push the next leg of not manufacturing, but, well, I guess home manufacturing, the next leg of growth, not just for Tesla, but for the country as far as energy is concerned. Imagine how much energy is lost on a roof every day that is not producing its own energy. If all of those homes were producing the energy that they take in from the sun every day, just that, we would have multiples of the actual energy production that we need for this country into the next leg of growth. But we don't have that. We don't have that yet. And I think that figuring out the solar roof would be one of the things that helps moving forward. Then we recently had a presentation on the Mega Block from Tesla, something that was kind of just sprung up. We have here what a Mega Block is, designed for 25 years. Well, that's pretty good. 20 megawatt hours of production or of storage and 91% MV round trip efficiency. This is what data centers, etc., will need if they are going to, because a data center has to have a steady electrical state. You can't have power surges, you can't have power outages for your data center, for your AI data center. That means very bad things. So this type of mega block is going to be something that everybody, Microsoft, maybe not maybe not OpenAI, but a lot of the other AI businesses will have to have multiple of these per site. Autonomous vehicles have the capacity to dramatically improve the affordability, availability, and safety of transportation, not to mention sustainability, while reducing pollution, particularly in our increasingly dense global cities. Something that I think is going to be on the little bit on the outskirts as autonomy ramps up. Why would you really need to live close to everything if you have these marginal costs transportation that is very fast? I think you're going to have more tunnels in the future. I'm not going to get into all that, but this is what we see from autonomy just in Texas. That must be from June 22nd to August 26th. So July and August, basically 2 months there, 2 months and 4 days, right? I mean, that has to be a 10x. That has to be a 10x in service size for the robotaxi in Austin. So how fast will we see the rest of this grow? Optimus, or autonomous humanoid, our autonomous humanoid robot, is changing not only the perception of labor itself, but its availability and capability. Jobs and tasks that are particularly monotonous or dangerous, think manufacturing, can now be accomplished by other means. In this way, Optimus's mission is to give people back more time to do what they love. This is the Optimus bot picking and placing batteries. I don't think this is being counted on by Tesla right now. I think this is more test running. But this sort of thing will start to make its way into Tesla manufacturing, auto plants, etc., as things go forward. And maybe this Optimus is one of the keys towards making the solar roof a reality for the country, for the world, and for Tesla. Autonomy must benefit all of humanity. The tools we make at Tesla to help build the products that advance human prosperity. How do we develop and use autonomy and the new capabilities it makes available to us should be informed by its ability to enhance the human condition, making daily life better and safer for all people through autonomous technology has always been and continues to be our focus. Now, I have seen a little bit of criticism on the always been, but I think back to when Tesla was putting all of the autonomous bots in their factories. They weren't humanoid bots, but they were autonomous bots. And there was the huge revolution where Elon said humans are underrated, right? That has been in their mission since day one. They just didn't use it quite right at the beginning. And as the political climate heats up, we have seen a lot of the political climate heating up lately, it is worth remembering, in order to squelch mindless mongering, these people who will talk about how the inequity is too much, it's important to remember that the inequity will grow at first. If the ultra-rich can afford an Optimus bot, they will buy 5 and have all of the free time in the world, while you and I still have to go to work and do our laundry. They will not. That is inequity. But the rising tide lifts all ships as the technology normalizes. Think back to our ancient ancestors. The guy who figured out how to make and use a hand axe could crack and eat 20 nuts per hour and grow fat, while the guy who didn't know how to make the hand axe was still using his teeth to open all of his food. But that technology spreads and it becomes something ubiquitous. Greater access drives greater growth. Making technology advanced products that are affordable and available at scale is required to build a flourishing and unconstrained society. It serves to further democratize society while raising everyone's quality of life in the process. The hallmark of meritocracy is creating opportunities that enable each person to use their skills to accomplish whatever they imagine. Pardon me. To each according to his need, from each according to his ability, right? Everyone deserves access to these opportunities, and technological growth can help ensure that each of us is able to maximize our most limited resource, time. To each according to his needs, from each according to his abilities, but we have to get to that place first. If you want to make those types of arguments, meritocracy has to get you to that promised land, if you consider that the promised land. We're accelerating the world's transition to sustainable abundance. We must make one thing clear. This challenge will be extremely difficult to overcome. The problem of shortages. The problem that abundance is not currently available. The elimination of scarcity will require tireless and exquisite execution. Some will perceive it as impossible, and plenty of others will laud every obstacle and setback we inevitably encounter along the way. Don't be a hater. But once we overcome this challenge, our critics will come to see that what they once thought was impossible is indeed possible. And that will be fine with us, because what matters most to us, so this sounds a little bit like Alex Karp, right? Maybe Alex Karp actually had a hand in writing this. But what matters most to us is that, together, we create a sustainable and truly abundant future for generations to come. All worthwhile journeys are long, and they will begin with a first step. Our first step is to make an exciting sports car, the Roadster, so this is looking back. Then we leverage those profits to fund the development and production of more affordable yet still exciting products, Model S and X. Then we repeated the process, bringing us to Model 3 and Model Y, and onward being the greatest product ever made, the Cybertruck. If you want to buy me one, I will give you a link to my bank account. This process required us to take many steps, many of them small and others large, but ultimately each win led to another win. This is a snowball effect for this company and ultimately for everyone. And even with our failures, we were able to keep building momentum. Our momentum allowed us to build out a fully integrated ecosystem of sustainable products, from transport to energy generation, battery storage, and robotics. Today, we are on the cusp of a revolutionary period primed for unprecedented growth. And this time, it will not be a single step, but a leap forward for Tesla and humanity as a whole. The tools we are going to develop will help us build the kind of world that we've always dreamed of, a world of sustainable abundance, by redefining the fundamental building blocks of labor, mobility, and energy at large scale for all. That is the document. Those are the thoughts that I have on this document and moving forward for Tesla. So I think that part of the sustainable abundance is the main part of sustainable abundance is infinite energy. And the sun provides that so long as we are able to capture and store that energy. That, I think, is the big thing going forward. So while and whereas we have not seen any of the energy capturing technology from Tesla in a long time. The solar roof came out a long time ago and has still not made that large leap that I think it's going to. I think that that is something. So the reason I say this, not the reason I say this, but the reason I am sort of confident in asserting this is that we were not told anything about the Mega Block Day coming up. It was just kind of sprung on us, and we got this new thing that is going to really help the AI revolution come to pass. And I think that the idea that Tesla is not going to be in on capturing energy is a fulsome assumption. And I think that we're going to see in the coming days, weeks, months, years, Tesla get back around to the Solar City acquisition that was so derided at the time. Is still derided today. There are people who think that Elon is a huckster for that right now, but I think that that was core to the mission at the time. It just never materialized. I think we're going to get to the point where that does materialize, where Tesla does get into the solar power capturing arena. And if they can revolutionize that, the way that they've revolutionized batteries, the way that they've revolutionized electric vehicles, the way that they've revolutionized battery technology, storage technology, etc. If they can revolutionize capturing energy, then this Master Plan Part 4 really becomes something that is executable. That is all I have in this video. If you like or appreciate this sort of thing, hitting a like button really does help me out. Consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.